Our body is performing many actions simultaneously. Some are voluntary, which allows us to decide when and how to perform them based on our thoughts or intentions. So, they are movements or behaviors under our conscious control. For example, walking, speaking, writing, picking an object, etc. Some are involuntary actions that are automatic responses that occur without conscious thought or effort. They are ensuring essential body functions continue without needing our attention. For example, heartbeat, pupil dilation, breathing, digestion, blinking of eyes, etc. Any type of action or function performed by our body is controlled by nervous system, your body's super-fast communication network. Today, we're breaking it down into two easy-to-understand parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Let's discuss one by one. Part 1. Central Nervous System. The central nervous system, or CNS, is like the boss of your body. The CNS acts as the body's main processing unit, interpreting sensory information and coordinating responses. So, the CNS can execute motor responses or regulate body mechanisms. It is protected by bones, skull and vertebrae, and fluids to prevent injury. Let's talk a bit about the brain. There are 6 main sections among other structures in brain: cerebrum, cerebellum, diencephalon, the midbrain, pons, and the medulla oblongata. Brain can be divided into 3 general regions: the hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain. First, let's examine the hindbrain that includes the parts named medulla, pons, and cerebellum. The medulla oblongata regulate autonomic functions like breathing, blood pressure, and heart rate. Medulla is located below the pons, at the junction of brain and spinal cord. So it relays signals between them. It sorts out incoming information from the body and transmits it to the appropriate brain regions for further processing. Medulla is also involved in some reflexes, such as sneezing and coughing. The pons acts as bridge, connecting spinal cord to various parts of the brain. It transmits sensory information between cerebrum and cerebellum. It regulates sleep cycles and alertness. Pons also responsible for some reflexes like chewing, tasting, facial expressions, and saliva production. Medulla and pons are parts of brain stem. Brain stem is the vital part of the central nervous system that is located at the base of brain, just above the spinal cord. So, it connects the brain to the spinal cord. It consists of medulla, pons, and midbrain. The third part of hindbrain is cerebellum. It is located at the back of the head, below cerebrum, and above the first cervical of the neck. It detects shifts in balance, sending signals for body to adjust. It helps movement coordination to ensure accurate muscular activity. It also coordinates eye movements. The cerebellum is involved in cognitive processes, such as attention and language. It plays a role in regulating emotional responses. The midbrain is the uppermost part of the brain stem, deep in the brain. It is the most superior region of the brain stem. The midbrain can then be divided into 2 main parts: tegmentum, the anterior surface of the midbrain; tectum, the posterior surface of the midbrain. Tegmentum contains a network of nuclei responsible for many vital functions including arousal, consciousness, coordination of certain movements, and cardiovascular control. This area plays a primary role in processing pain signals, autonomic function, behavioral responses to fear and anxiety. It is responsible for controlling the pupil movements. Tegmentum contains dopamine-producing cell bodies and plays a key role in the reward system. Tectum is also responsible for generating eye movements and neck muscle activity. It is responsible for processing auditory signals. In addition to sound localization, it is responsible for orienting the body towards certain stimuli and discriminating pitch and rhythm. Finally, the forebrain. This is the largest section. Most notably, it includes the cerebrum, which itself is divided into 2 hemispheres, right and left hemisphere. The cerebrum is further divided into 4 lobes. The frontal lobe that is responsible for reasoning and thought. The parietal lobe integrates sensory information. The occipital lobe is involved in processing visual information from the eyes. The temporal lobe is primarily responsible for processing auditory information from the ears. The forebrain also includes the diencephalon section, found between the cerebrum. It contains two structures, the thalamus and the hypothalamus. The thalamus behaves like a relay station to direct sensory impulses to the cerebrum. The thalamus controls some important physiological processes like hunger, thirst, body temperature, etc. The hypothalamus is major control of the endocrine system. It regulates autonomic nervous system functions such as water balance and blood vessel constriction and dilation. By regulating these vital processes, the hypothalamus plays a key role in maintaining homeostasis and preserving human health and well-being. There is a small, pea-sized endocrine gland called pituitary gland, located at the base of hypothalamus. It produces several hormones to control other endocrine system glands. The hypothalamus also plays a role in the emotions such as affection, anger, fear, pain, and pleasure. The second main part of the central nervous system is the spinal cord. The spinal cord is a tube of nerve tissues that runs from brainstem to lower back. It carries signals between brain and body. The spinal cord is divided into different segments. Cervical region, the uppermost portion, consisting of 8 spinal nerve pairs. Thoracic region, located in upper back, consisting of 12 spinal nerve pairs. Lumbar region, located in lower back, consisting of 5 spinal nerve pairs. Sacral and coccygeal region, located at the bottom of back, consisting of 5 sacral and 1 coccygeal spinal nerve pair. 2 types of spinal nerves, afferent and efferent spinal nerves, merge to form the peripheral nerves. The afferent or sensory spinal nerves are responsible for carrying sensory information from the body to the brain, and the efferent or motor spinal nerves are responsible for carrying information from the brain to the body. Spinal cord is also responsible for carrying out reflex actions that are quick and automatic responses. For example, knee-jerk reflex and withdrawal reflex that bypass the brain for speed. Now, that was all about the central nervous system. What about the peripheral nervous system? Peripheral nervous system consists of nerves that extend outside the central nervous system, connecting it to the limbs and organs throughout the body. PNS regulates the functions of the central nervous system, relaying sensory and motor information between the body and brain. Peripheral nervous system is subdivided into 2 smaller systems, the somatic system and the autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system is involved in carrying motor and sensory information both to and from the central nervous system. This system is made up of afferent sensory neurons that connect the sensory organs to carry information to central nervous system, and the efferent motor neurons take information from the central nervous system to skeletal muscle fibers throughout the body. The somatic system is responsible for almost all voluntary muscle movements, as well as for processing sensory information that arrives via external stimuli. The autonomic nervous system regulates involuntary body function essential for survival. For example, heart rate, digestion, respiratory rate, and pupillary response. The autonomic nervous system is further divided into the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is vital to our survival as it is responsible for fight or flight response to danger. The sympathetic nervous system activates the body processes in the time of stress to either defend yourself or to escape the threat. For example, a response to danger that can cause your heartbeat and breathing rate to increase, but slow down the digestive system. Because you don't really need to be digesting your food at that very moment. The parasympathetic nervous system counterbalances the sympathetic nervous system. Once the threat is over, the parasympathetic system brings all the body processes to normal. Heart rate will decrease, breathing rate get normal, digestion will occur again. This is often called rest and digest body process. Let's do a quick recap. The two main parts to the nervous system are the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is also divided into two major structures, brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system has two divisions, somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system further divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. How does nervous system work? Neurons or nerve cells communicate via electrical signals and chemicals called neurotransmitters. Fun fact, the brain has about 86 billion neurons, forming trillions of connections, more than stars in the Milky Way. So, the nervous system keeps our body alert, connected, and in control every second of every day. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it.